Welcome to Zoe Crossdressing. The room was unlit when the door crashed shut, the bang ricocheting through bare concrete. A second later, a harsh overhead light flicked on and revealed an unsettling orderliness, racks and shelves of clothing, arranged by shade and style with obsessive care. Undress. The command was flat, merciless. A woman in black traced with green stepped out of the shadows and approached, her gaze steady, unblinking. His fingers trembled as he obeyed. Gray fabric slipped from his body piece by piece, landing in a muted heap at his feet. "Can we just?" "No," her voice cut cleanly. "Do as you're told." The shirt followed, then the jeans. He stood there in underwear, shoulders hunched, trying to shrink into himself. "All of it." "But everything, Dominic," she said softly, almost amused, "or should I call you Daniela?" The name struck like a splash of cold water. He swallowed and stripped the rest away, goosebumps rising as the basement air kissed bare skin. Rosalie moved around him in a slow circle, assessing. "Good. Put these on." She dropped a bundle of pink at his feet. He stepped into lace panties, the delicate fabric unfamiliar, tied in all the wrong ways. The matching bra came next, its cups filled with silicone weight that tugged at his frame. Arms up. A sundress slid over his head, thin cotton, blush-colored, stopping high on his thighs. The sweetheart neckline framed the artificial curves of his chest. Rosalie closed the zipper without hesitation. "Sit." She gestured toward a vanity mirror cluttered with brushes, palettes, and clips. He perched on the stool, knees pressed together to keep the short hem in place. His reflection looked wrong, unfinished. "A man in a dress," he murmured. "For now," she replied. "That's changing." She snapped open a makeup case. Eyes closed. Cool foundation smoothed across his skin. Brushes sculpted cheeks, shaded lids, traced lips. With every pass, the angles he recognized softened, blurred. When she finally stepped back, the mirror held someone else entirely, glossed pink lips, sculpted cheekbones, dark-lined eyes crowned with long lashes. The stranger stared back, silent and waiting. "Better," she said, though her tone promised more. From a cardboard box she lifted a wig, long chestnut waves spilling over her hands. "Your hair won't cooperate yet." "This will, until it grows." She set it in place, snapping the clips down so they pinched his scalp. Rosalie fussed with the strands, shaping them to soften his face, then reached for a pair of small silver hoops and fastened them to his ears with quick clicks. "Up. Let me look at you." He stood, legs unsure. The mirror answered back with someone almost believable. The pink dress traced curves that didn't exist an hour ago. The brown hair framed a face rewritten by powder and paint. Close, but closer than he'd ever dared imagine. Shoes. She raised white sandals, delicate straps and 3-inch heels. "These will teach you." "I can't walk in those." "You will." She pointed to the stool again and dropped to one knee, guiding his feet in, tightening the buckles until they held firm. When he stood, the height tipped the world. He grabbed the vanity. No hunching. Shoulders back. Chin up. Short steps. He tried. Ankles trembled. Rosalie caught his arm before he pitched forward. "We're leaving." "What?" "No." "Yes." "Time for your debut, Daniela." She steered him upstairs, through the house, toward the garage. Each step demanded focus. The hem swayed high on his thighs, he tugged at it. "Don't." She opened the car door. In. The leather seat chilled his bare legs. The engine turned over and daylight flooded in as they pulled away. He folded into himself. "Posture," she said. "Ladies don't slump." "Where are we going?" "The salon." "That wig is temporary. Someone will know me." She laughed softly. "Look again." He checked the side mirror. A woman stared back, pink mouth tight with nerves, brown hair catching the sun. Dominic was nowhere to be found. The storefront came into view, transformations written in looping purple script. Rosalie parked right out front. "Out," she said. "I can't," he whispered. "You can," she replied calmly. "And you will." Soft voice. "Higher. And remember, your name is Daniela." The stretch of sidewalk between the car and the salon door felt impossibly long, like a runway he hadn't trained for. People passed by in both directions, chatting, scrolling, living their lives. No one stared. No one even slowed down. A bell rang as they stepped inside. "Welcome, ladies. What can I do for you?" The receptionist, a cheerful blonde with perfect curls, beamed at them. "Appointment for Daniela Stevens," Rosalie said smoothly. "Full service. Cut, color, extensions." "Of course." The woman nodded. "Right this way." They were led to a styling chair. A platinum-haired stylist grinned and motioned for him to sit. "Hop in, sweetie. Let's see what we've got." Dominic lowered himself carefully, tugging the dress flat against his thighs. The wig came off. Marcus clicked his tongue thoughtfully. "All right, yeah, we've got a project. But don't panic. That's the fun part." "What are you thinking?" he asked, already reaching for tools. Rosalie answered for him. "Keep her brown. Honey highlights. Shoulder length. Extensions until it grows." Marcus snapped his fingers. "Love it. Let's make some magic." Time dissolved into sinks, scissors, warm air, and the smell of product. Hands moved through his hair constantly. Marcus chatted without pause, compliments, stories, questions about her life. Dominic answered sparingly, forcing his voice upward, each word an effort. At last, Marcus spun the chair toward the mirror. "Okay, moment of truth." The reflection startled him. Soft brown waves flowed past his shoulders, streaked with subtle gold, layered perfectly around his face. The hair moved when he breathed. It looked real. It was real. "She's beautiful," Rosalie said quietly. "Exactly." Marcus clasped his hands. "You're glowing. And honestly? You're lucky. Not everyone has someone willing to walk this path with them." They left the salon together, hair bouncing lightly with every careful step. Back in the car, Rosalie smiled. "See? You survived." He exhaled shakily. "Next stop," she continued, starting the engine, "shopping." "Shopping? You need clothes. Real ones. Not just a dress." The mall rose ahead of them, huge, loud, packed. Rosalie parked near the entrance. "Posture," she reminded him. "Small steps. Smile." Inside, she steered him straight into Victoria's Secret. Pink light, lace, perfume, every surface overflowing with femininity. Associates appeared almost instantly. "Hi, ladies. What can we help you find today?" "My friend needs a full wardrobe," Rosalie said. "Everything." The associate's eyes lit up. "Perfect. Let's start with measurements." Before he could object, a tape was circling his chest, numbers spoken aloud. Rosalie gathered bras and panties from racks with practiced confidence. "Try these," the associate said kindly, handing him an armful of satin and lace. "I'll be right outside." The fitting room door closed. Alone, he stared at the pile, delicate fabrics and soft colors, each piece meant to shape a body he didn't recognize as his own. His reflection in the mirror watched silently, hair falling just right, pink lips parted, waiting. "How's it going in there, Daniela?" Rosalie called through the curtain. Fine," he answered, the word coming out thin and squeaky. "Then come show me." "I'd really rather not." The curtain slid open anyway. He stepped out in a lavender bra and matching panties, arms folded tight across his chest, cheeks burning. Rosalie walked a slow circle around him, tugging a strap here, smoothing fabric there. Good fit, she decided. We'll take 5 sets. She handed him another bundle. Shapewear next. The routine repeated, curtain, mirror, scrutiny. Each change brought something softer, more deliberately feminine. The sales associates hovered nearby, cooing encouragement, suggesting shades that made her glow or worked perfectly with her undertone. By the time it ended, the counter was buried in bags. They moved on to clothing stores. Rosalie pulled pieces from racks without hesitation, airy sundresses, fitted cocktail dresses, skirts that swayed, blouses trimmed with lace. Everything bright. Pink everywhere, mixed with lavender, white, pale blue. Nothing muted. Nothing safe. She held up a white dress scattered with pink flowers. This one. In the fitting room, it slid over him like it had been tailored, tight over the padded chest, cinched at the waist, flaring just enough at the hips. Thin straps left his shoulders bare. The hemline hovered boldly above his knees. Rosalie smiled. Perfect. We're buying it. Then, without pause, she added, and these. White pumps. 4-inch heels. You need the challenge. Bag after bag accumulated, jewelry that caught the light, long earrings, fragile chains, charm bracelets. Makeup. Hair clips. Purses in every imaginable color. My feet hurt, Dominic murmured as they passed the food court. Good, Rosalie replied. That means you're doing it right. One last stop. The nail salon buzzed with chatter and dryers. Rosalie secured 2 chairs. Soon his feet were soaking, hands resting awkwardly on a towel while a technician shaped his nails with practiced ease. What color? She asked. Pink, Rosalie answered immediately. Bright. Glossy polish transformed his fingers, then his toes, the color vivid and unmistakable. Under the UV lights, he studied his hands, nails smooth and oval, skin softened, unmistakably delicate. Excellent, Rosalie said, satisfied. Now you're starting to look the part. As evening crept in, they packed the car full of shopping bags. Dominic lowered himself into the seat, heels throbbing, legs aching from hours of balance and posture. The pumps pressed against his feet, a constant reminder that the day had changed far more than just his wardrobe. We're going out tonight. I'm exhausted. Rosalie didn't even look at him. Doesn't matter. You need practice being Daniela in the real world. We're meeting my friends for drinks. Your friends will know it's me. They won't, she said easily. Trust me. Back at the house, she pointed him toward the bathroom. Shower. Use the new stuff. The products lined up neatly, floral body wash, sweet-smelling shampoo, lotion that soaked in and left his skin impossibly soft. When he came out wrapped in a pink towel, Rosalie was waiting. She held up the white dress with pink flowers. This. And these. A lace bra and matching panties dangled from her fingers. Then the vanity. He dressed without thinking, motions smooth now, automatic in a way that unsettled him. At the vanity, makeup sat arranged in tidy rows. Pay attention, she said. Soon you won't need me. She rebuilt the look from scratch, even skin, softened contours, blush, pale pink shadow, sharp black liner, mascara that made his lashes flutter. Lip gloss followed, sweet and fruity. His brown hair fell in styled waves, one side clipped back with a small pearl barrette. Stand. Turn. The mirror showed someone ready for a Friday night. The dress was light and playful, the heels long and elegant on his legs, nails and lips matching perfectly. No trace of Dominic stared back. Rosalie added a final touch, clasping a thin silver necklace around his neck. Now you're done. The restaurant hummed with laughter and clinking glasses. At a corner table sat 3 women already deep in conversation. "Ladies," Rosalie said, "this is my cousin, Daniela. She's staying with me for a bit." Smiles all around. Compliments immediately. He sat carefully, knees together, posture straight, as the talk flowed effortlessly: books, dating, disasters, clothes. They pulled him in without hesitation. "That dress is adorable. Those shoes, where did you find them?" "The mall," he said softly, lifting his voice higher. "Today. Kind of a spree." Wine appeared. Plates arrived. Laughter filled the space. His nerves stayed tight, but something unexpected crept in too, a strange calm. To them, he was exactly who Rosalie said he was. A quiet, pretty girl enjoying a night out. "We should go dancing," one woman said. "That new place on 5th. "Perfect," Rosalie agreed. "Daniela needs the experience." His stomach flipped. "I don't really dance." "Please," another laughed. "Every girl dances." The club pulsed with color and sound. Despite the line outside, Rosalie led them straight through VIP. Inside, the bass hit him like a second heartbeat. At the bar, a pink drink was pressed into his hand. "Drink," Rosalie said. "Then we dance." It burned sweetly, loosening something inside him. When she pulled him onto the floor, lights flashing around them, she leaned close and shouted over the music. "Relax. Move your hips. Feel it." And she showed him how. He tried to mimic her movements, painfully aware of the dress creeping higher with every sway, the heels stealing his balance. But the crowd was tight, bodies moving together, everyone lost in their own rhythm. Under the flashing lights, he stopped feeling exposed and started feeling invisible, just another figure in the blur. A man slipped up beside him, tall, well-dressed, confident. "Can I get you a drink?" "She's with me," Rosalie cut in smoothly, not missing a beat. The man smiled, shrugged, and disappeared back into the mass of dancers. It wasn't the last time. Again and again, people drifted close, drawn to what they saw: a pretty woman in a floral dress, laughing nervously under colored lights. Every time, Rosalie redirected them with effortless ease. "You're getting noticed," she shouted near his ear. "How does that feel?" He couldn't find a single word for it. Fear tangled with excitement, confusion with a strange rush. Another drink appeared in his hand before he could think. The room softened at the edges, music sinking deeper into his body. They danced until his feet burned inside the 4-inch heels. Sweat loosened makeup, which Rosalie repaired in the restroom with practiced calm. "You did well tonight," she said, smoothing gloss over his lips. "But this is only the start." "The start?" His voice wavered. "Of course. Daniela isn't temporary." Her eyes met his in the mirror. "Tomorrow we begin properly: voice, posture, how you move, how you sit. Everything." The reflection staring back was messy and flushed, hair tousled from dancing, eyes wide with dawning understanding. This wasn't just clothes anymore. Rosalie wasn't dressing him up. She was rebuilding him. "Come on," she said. "Big day tomorrow." They gathered the book club friends, all laughing and tipsy. Outside, cool air brushed his overheated skin, making him shiver in the thin dress. Rosalie noticed instantly and slipped her blazer over his shoulders. "Careful. Can't have you getting sick." At home, she guided him through a new nighttime ritual, makeup melting away, skin cleansed and softened. The pink satin nightgown she handed him barely weighed anything. Bed. 8 a.m. sharp. "Tomorrow you start voice lessons." Alone. At last, he sat on the edge of the bed, fingers sliding through the extensions that no longer felt foreign. Pink nails glinted under the lamp. The gown's strap slid lazily off his shoulders. In the dark, he replayed the night, glances, smiles, the way strangers had accepted the illusion without question. How easily Daniela had replaced Dominic in their eyes. Sleep came in fragments, dreams tangled with dread and memory. Morning arrived too quickly, announced by Rosalie's sharp knock. Up. Shower. Dress. The pink sundress from yesterday waited. The routine resumed: warm water, lotion, fabric. He fastened the bra himself this time, adjusting the inserts until they sat right. Zipping the dress took awkward effort, twisting to reach. Rosalie nodded in approval. Not bad. She took the makeup case anyway. But I'll finish you. 20 minutes later, Daniela looked back from the mirror, hair simply styled, held with pink clips matching her dress and nails. Breakfast first, Rosalie said, gesturing toward the kitchen. Then we work on your voice. Fruit salad and yogurt sat neatly on the table, waiting. Ladies don't eat heavy breakfasts. They sat facing each other at the kitchen table, sunlight pouring in and making everything feel too bright. She set the pace, every detail deliberate. Now. Repeat after me. Hello, my name is Daniela. Hello, my name is Daniela. He lifted his pitch instinctively. No, she shook her head and touched her own throat. From here. Higher. Lighter. Let it float. He tried again, breathier this time. Hello, my name is Daniela. A nod. Better. The lesson stretched on. Words became sentences, sentences became conversations. She recorded his voice, replayed it, stopped him mid-phrase to correct tone and inflection. By the time she was satisfied, his throat burned from the effort. Good. Now we walk. Furniture was pushed aside. He slipped into the white sandals, lower heels today, but still unfamiliar. Rosalie demonstrated first, posture perfect, movements effortless. Shoulders back. Chest open. Small steps. Heel, then toe. Let your hips move, don't fight it. He tried. Click. 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 Each step earned a correction. Too stiff. Shorter stride. Softer. When he sat, she adjusted him again. Legs crossed like this. Smooth the skirt. Always. The hours filled with instruction, how to gesture without looking sharp or aggressive, how to apply lipstick without pressing lips together, how to let hands rest instead of clench. You're thinking too much, she said. How could I not, he muttered. You won't forever, she replied calmly. Eventually it will feel natural. As evening neared, she chose a purple dress for him, knee-length, modest neckline, fitted just enough. Matching pumps waited beside it. Dinner out, she said. A proper place. The Italian restaurant glowed with soft light and quiet conversation. White linens, polished glasses. The hostess smiled. Good evening, ladies. He walked carefully between tables, aware of eyes flicking his way. The dress and heels worked together to draw attention he didn't know how to handle. They settled into a booth. Posture, Rosalie murmured. Napkin. Small bites. Every motion became deliberate. He reached carefully, dabbed his lips instead of wiping, spoke to the waiter in the voice he'd practiced all day. And for you, miss, the waiter asked. Caesar salad, he said softly. Dressing on the side. Excellent choice. Rosalie smiled across the table. Much better. You're improving. He hesitated, then asked quietly, why are you doing this? Her expression didn't change. Because you needed to experience what you've ignored and mocked. This is your education, Daniela. And when does it stop? She met his eyes steadily. It doesn't. I told you, Daniela isn't temporary. The salad arrived bright and crisp, romaine barely glossed with dressing. He ate slowly, almost mechanically, careful not to smear gloss or disturb anything she'd worked so hard to perfect. Rosalie talked as if this were the most ordinary dinner in the world. Monday, she said casually, you start at my office. As my assistant. He froze. What? I already have a job. Had, she corrected, lifting her glass. I called yesterday. Told them you had a family emergency and wouldn't be coming back. You can't just. I can, she said evenly, and I did. Daniela needs a resume. And I need to keep an eye on you. He stared at her. People there know me. They know Dominic. They've never met Daniela, Rosalie replied, unconcerned. And they won't connect the two. Trust me. Dessert arrived, tiramisu, 1 plate, 2 forks. She speared a bite and held it out to him. He hesitated, then accepted it. She laughed when a smudge of cream landed on his nose. Hold still. She wiped it away, smiling. Bathroom before we leave. In the mirror, she repaired everything with quick, confident touches. When she stepped back, the woman looking out was flawless, untouched by dinner. Tomorrow, Rosalie said, we shop for work. Sunday vanished into fitting rooms and fluorescent lights. Department stores this time, structured clothes, serious fabrics. Pencil skirts in black, gray, navy. Blouses in soft whites and pinks. Blazers shaped to pull in the waist and emphasize curves. This is too tight, he complained, tugging at a gray skirt that clung to his hips. It fits exactly right, she replied. You're just not used to clothes that are meant to shape you. Shoes followed. Pumps in sensible colors, all 3 to 4 inches. For the office, she explained. Professional women wear heels. By Sunday night, he was drained. Rosalie, meanwhile, was energized, laying out Monday's outfit with care, black pencil skirt, pale pink blouse, black pumps, pearls. Simple. Polished. I can't work there, he whispered. Someone will figure it out. She looked at him for a long moment. You don't even move like you used to. He realized she was right. He crossed his legs without thinking. Smoothed fabric automatically. His hands rested softly instead of clenching. Even his voice, when he spoke again, rose naturally. Early night, she said. Tomorrow matters. Monday morning followed the now familiar rhythm, shower, lotion, clothes. The pencil skirt limited his steps more than any dress had. The blouse buttoned awkwardly, patience required. He managed most of his makeup alone, Rosalie refined the rest. Hair up, she decided, twisting the brown waves into a neat bun, leaving a few strands loose. Perfect. The drive took 20 minutes. Each one tightened the knot in his chest. The office building's glass reflected a professional woman in black and pink, purse resting neatly on her shoulder. Remember, Rosalie said as they parked. Cousin. Out of state. Fresh start. Simple. Inside, the lights hummed overhead, bright and unforgiving, as Daniela stepped forward into a life that no longer felt hypothetical. The receptionist glanced up from her screen and smiled. Good morning, Miss Stevens. And who's this? Rosalie didn't hesitate. My cousin, Daniela. She's starting as my assistant today. Oh, how nice, the woman said warmly. Welcome, Daniela. I think you'll fit in just fine. The elevator carried them up to the 3rd floor, marketing. Glass walls, neutral tones, quiet efficiency. Rosalie's corner office overlooked downtown, all sharp lines and confidence. Just outside it stood a smaller desk, already cleared and waiting. This one's yours, Rosalie said. I'll introduce you once everyone's in. People trickled in over the next hour. Each introduction tightened his chest, but one by one they smiled, shook hands, accepted Daniela as if she had always existed. Compliments came easily, about the blouse, the hair. Someone offered coffee. Someone else asked if he needed help getting settled. You must be excited, Carol said kindly. New city, new start. And Rosalie's wonderful to work for. Yes, he replied softly. She's been very supportive. I love your hair, Carol added. That color is gorgeous. Thank you. Just a few highlights, he said, the practiced answer slipping out smoothly. The day filled itself with tasks, learning phone systems, organizing files, managing calendars. Rosalie stepped out of her office regularly, assigning work, always using the name Daniela where others could hear. By lunch, the effort left him hollow. Over salads in the break room, Rosalie leaned closer. You're doing great. Completely believable. This is crazy, he whispered. How long do you expect this to go on? She lowered her voice. Forever. I told you that already. The afternoon passed in a careful rhythm, answering calls, scheduling meetings, speaking in the voice he'd been drilled to use. Rosalie Stevens's office, Daniela speaking, became second nature. When 5 o'clock finally arrived, coworkers waved goodbye. A few invited him to happy hour later in the week. That sounds lovely, he heard himself say. Thank you. In the car, Rosalie looked pleased. Flawless first day. I don't feel flawless, he said, kicking off the pumps with relief. That's because you're still pretending this is an act, she replied. But you didn't slip once. At home, he barely had time to breathe before she spoke again. Change. Purple dress. We're having dinner with my mother. Your mother? Panic spiked. She'll know. She hasn't seen Dominic in 2 years, Rosalie said calmly. She'll see who I introduce. The dress went on again, paired with nude pumps this time. Makeup refreshed. Hair released from its bun to fall in soft waves. The mirror showed a woman who looked tired after a long day at work. Rosalie's mother was already waiting at the restaurant, rising to greet them. And you must be Daniela. Rosalie's told me so much. Nice to meet you, he said, steadying his voice. Please, call me Linda, she replied, guiding him to a seat. Tell me about yourself. The story came easily now, out of state, needed a change, grateful for Rosalie's help. Linda listened with sympathetic eyes, patting his hand gently. Well, you're family now, she said. Anyone related to Rosalie is welcome. They ordered salad again for Daniela at Rosalie's quiet glance. Conversation drifted harmlessly. Linda admired the purple dress, suggested shopping together, mentioned her book club. A lovely girl like you shouldn't be on her own, she said warmly. He smiled, nodded, and played the role, because by then, it was no longer clear where the role ended and reality began. I know some very nice young men, Linda said brightly. Mom, Rosalie cut in gently, Daniela just arrived. Let her breathe first. Of course, Linda agreed, though she smiled knowingly. In time. The night ended with lunch plans and warm goodbyes. Linda hugged Daniela close at the door, whispering, I'm so glad you're here. Back at the house, he sank onto the couch without ceremony. The purple dress crept up his legs, baring his thighs. He didn't bother fixing it. She believed every word, he muttered. Why wouldn't she? Rosalie replied. You're more convincing as Daniela than you think. This can't go on forever. Rosalie smiled. Watch me. Tuesday blurred into Wednesday, then Thursday, each day the same ritual. Wake. Shower. Moisturize. Dress. Makeup. Different outfits, same unmistakable femininity. A navy dress with a white cardigan. A pink skirt suit. A floral blouse cut so clearly for a woman's body that even with black slacks, there was no mistaking it. At work, Daniela settled into routine. Coffee runs. Flower arrangements. Notes in meetings where people who once knew Dominic looked right through him. The higher voice held steady. Heels clicked confidently across the floors. Daniela, could you pull the Morrison file? The name answered as naturally as breathing. Evenings were their own trials. Tuesday brought book club at Linda's, 8 women dissecting romance novels while he sat primly in a yellow sundress, offering thoughtful comments in a soft, careful voice. Wednesday was happy hour with coworkers. Margaritas, gossip, laughter. He sipped cautiously, afraid a buzz might crack the facade, but it didn't. Daniela laughed, sympathized, nodded at dating woes. "You're lucky to have family here," Carol confided. "Yes," he replied. "Rosalie's been amazing." "Anyone special back home?" "No," he said after a beat. "That's part of why I left." Carol squeezed his hand. Fresh starts can be healing. Thursday meant dinner again with Rosalie's friends. This time he ordered confidently, chose wine, joined a lively debate about fashion trends. When someone suggested a Saturday shopping trip, he agreed before thinking. That night, the truth finally spilled out. "This is insane," he told Rosalie. "I'm making plans as her." "As you," she corrected. "She's not me." Rosalie pointed toward the bathroom. "Look." The mirror showed a woman in pink pajamas. Long brown hair spilling over her shoulders. Faint mascara clinging stubbornly to lashes. Pink nails lifting as he gestured. "This isn't who I am," he insisted. "It's who you've been all week," she replied calmly. "At work. With friends. With my family. Everyone sees Daniela because that's who you are now." Friday arrived with a new test. Rosalie laid out a dress on the bed, red, daring, shorter than anything before. Thin straps. Sweetheart neckline. The hem barely covered mid-thigh. "Company party tonight," she said. "Cocktails. Dancing." "I can't wear that," he protested. "People will." "What?" Rosalie interrupted. "Notice how stunning you look." The dress molded to every curve, padded and real alike. Black stilettos, 5-inch heels, lifted him higher than ever. Rosalie swept his hair into an elegant updo, exposing his neck, then fastened long silver earrings that brushed his skin. The woman in the mirror didn't look like she was pretending anymore. More makeup tonight, smoky eyes, dark shadows, thick liner, transformed his gaze into something dangerously alluring. Lips were painted a fiery red, perfectly matching the curve-hugging dress. The mirror reflected a woman who could stop a room, no trace of Dominic remained. The hotel ballroom glittered under chandeliers, laughter and music weaving through the crowd. Colleagues mingled in sparkling attire, glasses clinking, heels clicking across marble floors. As they entered, heads turned. "Daniela, you look incredible," Carol exclaimed, racing over in a cobalt cocktail dress. "That dress, it's stunning," Daniela heard herself say. Rosalie picked it, she added automatically. "She has impeccable taste." They moved toward the bar, and like moths to light, men appeared, offers of drinks, requests for dances, business cards pressed into manicured hands. He smiled politely, kept his composure, and let Rosalie observe from a distance. "Your cousin's popular," the CEO said, leaning toward Rosalie. "Half my executives want her number. She has that effect." The music changed, and before he knew it, he was being led onto the dance floor. One partner, then another, guiding him in perfect rhythm. The 5-inch heels demanded full attention, and each turn and dip was an exercise in balance and grace. "You're an excellent dancer," murmured a warm hand on his bare back. "Thank you," came the practiced, breathy reply. "Would you like some air?" "The balcony is lovely," another voice offered. "I should find my cousin." "Just one drink," Daniela responded, smiling. Rosalie appeared as if on cue. "There you are, Daniela. Mom's on the phone, family emergency." "Oh, excuse me. I'll call back," he said. "Of course." "Another time," she replied, then laughed once they were outside. "You're getting too good at this." He sank against the balcony railing, toes aching, heart racing. This is exhausting, he admitted. Can we leave, he asked. Not yet, Rosalie said, eyes gleaming. Important people to impress. But look at you, you're doing wonderfully. They stayed until midnight. More dances, more drinks, sipped carefully to keep composure, and conversations in the soft, high voice of Daniela about trivial things, light enough to sound natural. The red dress drew eyes all evening, curves and color impossible to ignore. The drive home was silent. He slumped against the seat. My feet, they're killing me. Beauty is pain, Rosalie said, smiling. And tonight, you were beautiful. I don't want to be beautiful. I want to be myself, he muttered. You were yourself tonight, she replied. Daniela. Social, graceful, adored. Everyone loved you. At home, removing the ensemble was another trial. The hair, once pinned into an intricate updo, tumbled down. The dress was tight and resistant. The stilettos came off with relief. In the bathroom mirror, traces of sweat smudged the makeup, but the reflection was still unmistakably Daniela, exhausted, triumphant, and fully transformed. Shower, then bed, Rosalie ordered firmly. Brunch with the girls tomorrow. Please, he groaned, sinking into the couch. I need a break. Daniela doesn't get breaks, she replied evenly. She has a social life to maintain. Saturday morning came quickly. Yellow sundress. White sandals with modest 3-inch heels. The restaurant buzzed with weekend energy as 8 women crowded around a large table. Daniela, love the shoes, one called out. Thanks, he said automatically. Surprisingly comfortable. Shopping after this? Absolutely. The words left his lips without a second thought. 3 hours later, he was trapped in a fitting room, holding up a swimsuit that left little to the imagination. Pink, daring, the kind of bikini Rosalie had selected with precision. I can't wear this, he muttered. Of course you can, Rosalie said, inspecting him critically. You've got the figure for it. The figure is padding. So what? Plenty of women enhance. It's the effect that matters. Sunday arrived with a pool party at Carol's. Morning rituals included waxed legs at Rosalie's insistence, no stubble allowed. The pink bikini felt scandalously exposed. A sheer white cover-up provided the faintest hint of modesty. Don't forget sunscreen, Rosalie reminded herself as much as him, clad in her own black one-piece. The party hosted 20 guests. Women complimented Daniela's suit. Men offered drinks, pool toys, playful glances. He hovered in the shallow end, terrified that the top might slip. Your cousin's adorable, someone remarked to Rosalie. Where's she been hiding? Just shy, I think, Rosalie replied smoothly. But she's coming out of her shell. By evening, Chlorine had undone the careful hairstyling. In Carol's bathroom, Rosalie reworked the waves and reapplied waterproof mascara with precise efficiency. 2 weeks, she mused. How does it feel? Losing yourself, or finding yourself? The thought lingered, chasing him through another week of work, dinners, and social events. Each day, the routine became second nature: shower with floral soap, moisturize, select an outfit, apply makeup with growing confidence, style the brown hair that seemed longer every day. Your roots are showing, Rosalie noticed over breakfast one morning. Time for a salon visit. Thanks for watching, he murmured, caught between resignation and something like curiosity at the life he was being molded into.